Hello, Ray here with Kurgan Stone. I am going to be showing you guys today how to use a flattening stone or a lapping stone. The one I have here in particular is the pink Double Time Flattening Stone from Sharpening Supplies. These are no longer available. They were sold in a limited run or given out to people to test. We were fortunate enough to be one of those testers. I will put a link in the description below for their green Double Time Flattening Stone, which is a really excellent stone. I really love these because you have a dual grit. You have the 180 on this one and the 320 on this side, and on their green one you have the 120 and 320, so you could do your finer grit stones and your lower grit stones without any issues. So we use lapping or flattening stones to correct our whetstones, because over time as we use our whetstones you start to get dishing or warping, or what we call vellies. It's going to give you a much better sharpening experience. You'll be able to get a good polish on your knives, and it's going to be very hard to sharpen with an uneven or wonky stone. So that's where these guys are going to come in. This large wooden die, if you're interested in these, we make these out of reclaimed lumber. These are on our website for about $45. This is specifically made, or this die is specifically made to hold these large wooden stones. I will also put a link in the description for those below if you are interested, but let's get into this, and let me show you how this works. It's fairly simple. Some things you'll need are, what I like to use is a carpenter's pencil. You're able to write on your whetstones whether they're wet or dry with these, so I really recommend one of these versus a Sharpie or a marker. A spray bottle, that's how, and then of course just a solid surface to work on. I soaked this stone already. These are soaking stones, and I'm going to be showing you, or the stone I'll be correcting today is a Naniwa Traditional 8000. I've been using this one quite a bit lately, so I need to work this one out. So what we're going to do is we are going to, let me move you guys in here. We're going to start by just making a grid on our stone. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have absolutely straight lines. If you're a perfectionist, you absolutely can get straight lines if you'd like. But we basically just want to make sure we have some lines here, and what this is going to do is these lines are going to tell us where we need to keep working the stone or how our progress is going. This isn't 100% foolproof. You always do also want to check by eye as you're going, or try to use a straight edge if you can. Yep, so the next thing, we're going to spray this down. And again, I already soaked this guy here. It took about 30 seconds, 40 seconds to get all the air bubbles out of it. And I'm going to be using the 180 grit side because my whetstone here is fairly well warped. I've been using it quite a bit again. And the frequency you want to use a flattening stone is going to be every time. Every time you use your whetstones, for each whetstone, you're going to want to use a flattening stone. And the more frequently you do it, the less you'll have to take off of your stones. It'll extend the life of your sharpening stones, and it'll also extend the life of your flattening stone. It is a bit annoying, or is it a bit of work, but that's just the price that you have to pay, unfortunately, that comes with using whetstones. We do all of our sharpening here in our shop on whetstones, so that is something, you know, we're doing here at the end of the day for all of our stones. But it's super important to do it every time you sharpen. Yeah, it'll really help extend the life again, and it makes it easier for you and saves you a lot of time if you do it more frequently. So I sprayed that down, give it another spray, and I'm going to spray the stone down. Now the way we want to do this is we're going to want to go from one corner to corner to corner to corner. Let me see if I can, there you go. Okay, so again, we're going to go from corner to corner to corner. And the reason why is so we get an even resurfacing on our stone, and we also get even results, sorry, my brain's a little off today, even results on our flattening stone, because eventually over time this will need flattening as well. So we want to try to wear it down as evenly as possible. And how we're going to do that is by just starting here, and then we're going to go up to this corner, over to this corner, down to this one, and around again, just like that. And we want to go in circles because it'll wear off the most amount of material without having to do too much work, and it'll also of course give us that really even stone. If you go this way, you may work too much off of this side, or you may work too much off the middle, or this side here. So we always want to go in circles because that gives us the most even results. So again, let me just spray this down. And you can see there, just from that gentle rubbing, it's taken off quite a bit. This is a fairly aggressive stone on this 1,880 grit side. This is an 8,000 grit stone, so it's going to shave it down pretty quickly. Another thing that's really important too is you want to have about half of the stone hanging off as you're coming around. With each pass, you want about half of that stone hanging off of the sides. Don't worry about getting it, because as you come back around here, you're going to get that half that you missed. Alright, so it's really important. That way we make sure we use the entire surface of this stone, and that way this wears down evenly. So again, we're going corner to corner. And we have that overhang here by about half of the stone, or yeah, it's about half the stone, and that's super important so that we evenly wear down both stones. We're going to stop to check our progress. Now you can see we just got a little bit there. What we're going to want to do is going to spray this. At first you're just going to want to go slow. You don't want to go too fast at first. Just take your time and get the technique down. It may seem simple, but when you start rushing, that's how you're going to start making mistakes in the beginning. So just take your time, work the stone around. Again, on these high grit stones here, the 180 grit side is going to cut really, really quickly. So you don't have to worry too much. It's not going to take you too long. And eventually, over time, you could start to build up speed once you start to get comfortable. And you can start going faster and faster if you like. The faster you go, start to come in with two hands. And you can see we're starting to get that really nice buildup of slurry there. And we're starting to get this nice buildup of slurry here as well. I want to just keep going here. Okay, and you can see we got most of our pencil mark off. We do have some left in that area there, you can see, and some just about right there. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working this until I get that completely off. And again, just at first, go slow. Take your time, right? Just make sure you're hitting all those corners. Use the entire surface of your lapping stone. Alright, let's see where we're at. So we still got a little more in that corner. We're just going to keep going until we get it all the way off. Spray a little more water here. Alright, let's see where we're at. So we're starting to get there. This side is gone now. So it's just that one side there. So I know I have a spot there. I need to keep working. Keep running this over. Okay, now you can see the entire surface of this has started to clear up. We still have a little bit there in that corner. May take a few minutes, depends on how warped your stones are. You see we got this really nice mud building up all over here and all over this. Just gonna run that along there. Give it another quick spray. Alright, I think we're good there. We'll stop and check. Yep. And there you go. The entire surface of our stone is clean. Have a little bit actually right there I need to get. So go just a little bit longer. Stone started sliding on me there. It does get kind of slippery at times, and that's why sometimes you want to use two hands just to have good control over it. Okay, and I am happy with that. See, we built up a lot of nice thick mud here. The sides too are pretty dirty, so if you need to get the sides, the great thing about these stones is that we just take the sides, you lay it just straight across like this, hold your stone like this. I use the sides of my whetstones too. I use all surfaces of my whetstone. I use the sides for chisels and other small tools when I run them along here. Serrated knives, which I'll show you in the future, how I do serrated knives on these whetstones. And then we have that other corner. We take it and we're just gonna run it. And there you go. Clean those sides up really quickly. The bottom side's a little dirty. I do use both sides of my stones, but you get a general idea of how to use your whetstones. Alright. Another important thing too is to take care of this stone as well. I'm going to go ahead and pop it off the wooden base here. Okay. What I like to do is take a screwdriver when this starts to get clogged up, because over time, depending on how many stones you're doing or how thick the mud is, like our Nenny with 220 Super has some of the thickest mud I've seen on anything or any stone so far, and it really does clog up these channels. So what I like to do is just take a screwdriver and run them through each of the channels here. I just like to get all that gunk out of there. And you can see that's really thick, almost like clay. So we want to get all that out of there. Oh, I guess I just kind of clay, but and we just want to make sure we clear all those channels, because over time that buildup will definitely start to clog up, and it'll slow the cutting speed of your stone. It'll also make it feel like your whetstone is sticking, or there's a bit of a suction if you have too much gunk in the channels. So I just like to clean them out. Another thing you could do too is take a brush like this one here, just a soft nylon brush, and just give it a quick scrub over. Help clear out all those channels. It does drain off a lot of the slurry, but over time that really thick mud does build up, so it will need cleaning. Alright, there you have it. That's how you use a lapping stone or a flattening stone to correct your whetstones. Again, I recommend that you use one every time you sharpen on your whetstones. I recommend you use one of these guys. It's super important to continually maintain your whetstones and make sure they are flat and level so you get a good sharpening experience. You don't damage your knife or your stones. And yeah, it's really easy, very straightforward. Just again, remember the most important things are to use the entire surface of your flattening stone so you get a good even surface here, and this wears down evenly. So both stones wear down evenly. And again, just make sure you have half the stone overlapping when you come around, and just keep working it. And again, go slow. Take your time. That's the most important thing. Even if you're just doing it this slow at first, you don't want to rush and go crazy with it. Just get your technique down. And yep, it's really easy once you get it, and it'll kind of just become natural, just like sharpening on whetstones will become natural for you. And again, carpenter's pencil, these work really well. They can write on the stones, wet or dry. If you have any questions or anything else, you can leave them in the comments or any. Thank you guys. If you guys do use one of those lapping stones to correct your stones, sometimes these finer grit stones or stones that are a lot softer can get impregnated by the particles from the lapping stone. So always make sure, and you don't want to ruin a really nice Kasumi finish, or you don't want to ruin a nice mirror finish and find out last minute and have to start all over again. So when you do lap your stones, or when you're done using it, what I like to do is just take a Nagura stone and just dress the surface of the stone that I corrected. Always use the appropriate Nagura stone. If you're using a 8,000 grit stone, use your 8,000 grit Nagura stone, or a 1,000, 1,000, 220, 220. But I like to just run a Nagura stone over the surface and just dress the surface of the stone. That way I know for sure that this stone is ready to go, and I'm not finding out last minute when I mess up my mirror polish, because some of the rougher particles had gotten embedded or impregnated in here. But yep, that's it. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you found this useful, and get out there and practice.